Welcome everyone to the second session of the day, Develop Website in Clicks. Before I start, I would like to give some disclaimer. This is the second session of the day as we had a huge demand today. And before I start the session, let me wish you all Eid Mubarak. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for the session on Develop Website in Clicks. Today we have participants from 30 different countries, including international students studying in India, students and professionals with huge numbers from Afghanistan and my Indian friends. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of my new friends, World Literacy Foundation Ambassadors 2020 from Malawi, Mauritius, Australia, Hong Kong, Sudan, and Nepal. Just a little housekeeping before we get started, that this is the live session. So most of you will not be able to ask questions just as we were able to do it a few hours ago in the live interactive Zoom session. But nevertheless, you can always drop your questions in the message box and I shall get back to you with the answers. No doubt it will take some time, but yes, your questions will be definitely answered. Throughout the presentation, we'll be learning how to develop website, free tools to be used, hosting services, domains free of cost, as well as the copy of this presentation will be available in English, Nepali, Dari, French, and Portuguese. I would request all participants to please pay attention throughout this sessions. Without further ado, we will turn the time over to the next slide and start the session. My name is Shehrevar Davierwala, and I will be your instructor for this completely online session. Let me start by introducing myself in short. I have a Master's of Science in Information Technology, MSc in IT from Mumbai University, India. A teaching experience that englobes teaching K-12 students and teachers. It also includes training young bright minds at university. I have also conducted capacity build workshops in person and online mode in Afro-Asian countries, to name a few: Afghanistan, Bhutan, Nepal, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. Currently, I am working as Executive International Promotions and Admissions at Symbiosis Center for International Education, SCIE, Centralized International Office of Symbiosis International Deemed University, India. This year, I am shortlisted as World Literacy Foundation Ambassador 2020 to represent India to promote and support literacy globally and locally. Before I move ahead and let me dive into the session, I would like to introduce you all to my team members who have always been very proactive and supporting in each and every session. And they are actually working as a volunteers and supporting the mission of reaching out to people and to and sow the seeds of computer literacy in each and every individual. So I have team members from various different countries with me. They were present during the live interactive session over Zoom. It is rightly said by Michael Jordan, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championship. My very first team member is Rupam Karna. She is from Nepal and she works with me as a translator and content writer. Ahmed is from Chad. He helps me out with translation and content writing in French. Shukriya Razai is from Afghanistan. Habiba Hosseini is again from Afghanistan, and both of them are very active and proactive writers for translation of PPTs and coming up with the new topics in Dari. Jane is from Mozambique and she is an excellent content writer and translator. She is well versed with not only Portuguese, her mother tongue, but she is also good with French and Spanish. Srijan Karna, she is from Nepal again, and she is very proactive and supporting in translation of all the presentations in Nepali language. Behind the scenes, we have Sheila. She is again from Mozambique and she is one of the person who is very, very helpful. Without her, the events may not be successful because she is our graphic designer who comes up with lovely graphics and posters for each and every event that we have to conduct. This Session is the part of use of technology in business and follow up to previous sessions, digital marketing part 1, which was focused on drafting digital strategies and why digital marketing is important in today's era, and learn digital marketing part 2, which was focused on building email campaigns based on the digital marketing strategies that were drafted earlier in the session 1. If you have missed the earlier session, please feel free to download from this presentation as the links are provided here. I will be sharing soon I will be sharing this presentation again on my Facebook page at the rate Meet Shehrevar. You can directly download from my SlideShare. You can also directly download from my SlideShare and AutoStream account free of cost. Over here, we have a statement. I would request you all to read and think about this statement. You may know each word in it, but the sentence itself doesn't have any meaning. Imagine for a moment, what if we were not able to read signboards or to read medical label, fill out a form, apply for a job, or read an informational pamphlet? Sadly, 770 million people in the world are illiterate, often trapped in the poverty cycle. Another 2 billion people struggle to read a sentence. They are considered functionally illiterate. In our community, those most likely to be illiterate or with low reading level skills are young people from disadvantaged and marginal backgrounds. Literacy in the early years is the single most important factor to determine the future direction of young people. Being literate and having ability to read and write has a direct link to young person reaching their full potential. Being educated greatly enhances your chances of getting a good job and making a valuable contribution to our community. Low literacy level impacts the community. Conversely, illiteracy and low-level reading skills are directly linked to poverty, unemployment, underemployment, poor health outcomes, and many other social and economical problems. Illiteracy can have lifelong social consequences. In prison, nearly 80% of inmates are illiterate. The question comes over here is, who helps them? The World Literacy Foundation (WLF) is a global non-profit charitable organization aiming to lift the literacy skills of those who are illiterate or struggle to read and write. Their mission is to provide limitless opportunities to disadvantaged youth through the power of literacy and education, and in turn break the poverty cycle. I, along with ambassadors from over 140 countries across the globe, will have our attention and awareness to the important issue of literacy in my country and beyond. And this is how we will support this movement. Let's talk about this problem more in detail and find out solutions. What can we do about it? Let's raise awareness and understanding about the lifelong consequences of low literacy levels. Let's find simple things we can do as a community to make a difference. Children and young people from low income background often don't have access to books. Let's help them. Our small donation in contribution in a form of, let's say, even $5 can make a greater impact and bring lives to can bring education to their lives. Let's have a look at how our donation to the World Literacy Foundation can help and change the life of the people who have less access to the education or no access to the education. You will see your donations going straight into maintaining programs and contributing to sustainable development in local communities, which is both eye-opening and rewarding. Dingo app brings together innovative technology, ebooks, games, and locally curated content to advance the learning of children with limited access to education and technology. After completion of 2 days, you will be able to develop your own free website and also make use of this knowledge to start your own business at low investment or make a website of your own as a self as a self, and it can be serving as your own digital resume. This session will cover basics and slowly move on to the advanced levels wherein at no point we will not be learning to code or write a code because everything will be taken care. But no doubt we will be interacting with the code indirectly. We will cover the following points: fundamentals like website hosting, domain name, URL, web technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, introduction to CMS, that is WordPress for this particular session, how to buy hosting and domain name, how to use free hosting and domain name services, installing WordPress, install and activate theme, setting up homepage, create a page, create menus, and finally, the website is ready, how we share our website with our friends and promote our business or promote ourselves. Let's look into more detail. The question comes over here is, what is website according to you? And of course, the very predicted answers of website consist of media in form of images, videos. It also consists of text, useful information, links. All answers are right, but let's have a better understanding for it. The central page of a website is called a home page. This is usually the first page you see when you call a website up and also can be called a start page or an index page. From here, the user navigates to sites, web pages. According to Wikipedia, a website is a collection of publicly accessible interlinked web pages that share a single domain name. Websites can be created and maintained by individual, group, business, or organization to serve a variety of purposes. In simple words, a website can be compared to a book which has information, text, pictures, references, and a web page can be compared to a single page of a book. A home page can be compared to the cover of a book. A website can also be termed as collection of web pages with text, media, and links. Most famous example of a simple website is Google, a search engine which helps us to search various other websites or content from variety of websites. Let's have a look at few of the basic technologies which are required to develop a web page. Even though we are not going to learn how to use all of them, we are not going to be coding anything, but still the basic knowledge of it will help us a lot. Web development comes with a huge set of rules and techniques every web developer should know about. Developing an app or a website typically comes down to knowing few main languages: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and CMS. CMS is not a language, but it is combined and made up of all this language to make our work easier and helps us to develop website without coding. Let's have a closer look to all of this. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is one of the first you learn as we start developing a website. The picture over here of a notepad showing some code shows the HTML script. Later, we move down to cascading style sheets, which is CSS. It describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on the screen, and it add effects like text effect. It is useful for decoration of a website and make it more attractive. Over here, we have a small snippet of code for CSS. Below this notepad, this is the CSS code, which is useful. JavaScript is most popularly scripting language and is used for the functions such as validating emails to check the phone numbers on the user's machine. Moving on, PHP is acronym for Hypertext Preprocessor. Websites like Facebook, Yahoo are built on PHP. PHP offers high degree of customization. You all might be using Facebook and obviously you are using it today. Just for an instance, if you like this video, you click on the thumb button. When you click on the thumb button, it instantly turns blue. If you give some emojis, some actions as wow on the Facebook, it instantly gives you that. How is it possible? It is possible using PHP. CMS is called Content Management System is a software application that allows user to collaborate and helps us to create, edit, and publish digital content in form of web pages, blogs, posts, etc. It also helps us to do all this task without learning to code or without writing any code or a scripting language. But we do interact with the code indirectly. This is the simplest example which helps us to understand what is the role of HTML and what is the role of CSS. So if you look at on the extreme left over here, we have a skeleton, which means when we use HTML, we get a skull, we get a skeleton structure of a website. But when we add CSS to it, it gives extra good appearance and it makes it attractive to the visitors of this particular website. That's the role of CSS, and the role of HTML is to come up with a skeleton, to come up with the actual structure of your website. So both are interdependent on each other. Let's move on and understand all different web technologies together. What is their role? This is the most classic example to understand it all. It is the combination of HTML, CSS, PHP, and MySQL. So if we look at this particular picture, we have HTML that gives us a prototype for a car. We use CSS and we have a car with some color and some effects. Later on, further going down, the car there is the use of PHP, which gives the additional functionality to the car, that is to move and ability to move forward, backward, take turns around, which have nothing but it has made this lifeless car and have turned this lifeless car into life. That's the task of PHP. And when we combine HTML, CSS, PHP, and one more technique which is called as MySQL, which usually takes care of all the data, so which makes your car to take care of what is the speed of the car, how much is fuel in the car, do you have to turn right or do you have to turn left? And this is how the web technologies make use, and this is how you can relate it to the real world to make understand it better. Most of the web developers and the beginners have a question how to develop a website in less time. If you are a web developer working in a company, you always have this question that how to come up with a website in a less time, more effectively, more productively. And if you are a beginner or if you are a person from a non-computer background, it is a big deal for you because you think of complex mathematics, codes, and algorithms. But now there is a solution to it, which is to learn CMS, that is Content Management System. Content Management System, in simpler language, it is a tool that helps you to build a website without needing to write a code from a scratch or even to know how to code at all. Popular CMS examples are WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal, the three logos down over here on this slide. No doubt all three content management systems are free and you are free to select whichever you want to use to develop your website. However, they offer third-party softwares, third-party themes, which are no doubt to be paid for. But it also offers variety of products and integrated softwares which are free as well, and we are free. We can pick and choose anyone whichever we like. Before we start with a website, we need to make a checklist as there are many things that we need to do. The first question comes is, why do I need a website? So you have to decide what will be your website focusing on. What is the topic of your website? Is the website for your personal resume? Then you need to collect content accordingly. Or if you are coming up with a website for a school, for a student association, you are required to collect content related to that particular topic. So if the website is related to yourself, you need to come up with good images. You need to have content, the textual content related to your hobbies and so on. But if it is a website related to school, you will need a logo. If a website is related to some business, again, you need a logo, pictures related to the business, textual content describing those pictures. You have to narrow it down to the layout. What kind of layout your website needs to have? Do you need a static website? Do you need a dynamic website? Do you need a website with pictures moving in when the user come on? Do you need a website which has integration with social media platforms? How do you, which CMS do you want to use? What kind of hosting service you want to use, what kind of domain name you want to use. So there is answer to each and everything, but we need to jot down all these points and then only the question will be answered. If we just blindly start doing something, it will not give us better results, or we may end up into more trouble. Before we move on and dive deep into how to develop a website and learn what is hosting, domain name, and start using CMS, let's go ahead with designing the logo for the website. For today's session, I'm going to develop a website for a hypothetical business, a restaurant which is not existing. That is, the name of the restaurant is Kabul Cafe, and I would like to start with designing the logo for this particular restaurant using a free tool which is available online, because as of now, let's assume most of us do not have money to pay graphic designers, or we do not have graphical skills. We don't know how to use graphical software. So if you are the person who is not ready to invest in graphic designer and you don't know graphic designing, then this is the tool that can help you to design your own logo for your business, which can be used on your website. So we will start designing our logo with a website which is called as canva.com. We have been using canva.com in my previous sessions as well to design various different sliders for the Facebook page to promote business. In this session, we are going to use canva.com for designing a logo. So when you have logged in using your Gmail account, you get this front page over here for this canva.com website. You can select numerous templates as per your requirement. But today my requirement is to design a logo. So I have selected the template for logo over here. Within this logo template, you again get subcategories. You need logo for gaming, you need logo for branding, badges, art, design, fashion, computer, food and drinks, education. You have a big variety of logos available for each and every category. You can pick and choose your category. In my case, I have selected restaurant logo. Again, there are numerous types over here. You can select any one of the design that best matches your business, or you think that this is attractive for your website. It will attract attention of many customers. You can pick and choose accordingly. You have a huge database of design over here. No doubt most of them are free and many are paid. So I like this particular design because I think it will go with my website well. Now this is the time to customize. Before I customize, I'm going to add the name to this particular logo so that it's able, so that I can identify it well when I develop my website. I've given a name to it, and now I'm not happy with this name of business because my business name is Kabul Cafe and I want to link it more to Afghanistan because it's Kabul Cafe. So I'm using this particular text so that the people from Afghanistan and Iran feel more like home and they are well connected to my business product. Now let me modify it a bit by changing its colors so that it matches my brand color. If you have your brand color, maybe you can use this different kind of color scheme so that everything goes in sync. So I'm just finalizing which color the logo looks good in. This is better, I guess. Let me change this as well so it matches well with this particular logo. There's a lot of color selection. You just need to select the color and see which one goes best. You can also modify the text, give some effect to the text over here. So those are different text shades that you can apply to your logo over here. And I'm pretty much happy with the logo that I have over here. You can also set transparency of colors if you want some color to be more transparent and hide the other one. And here I go with the download. You can see I don't have transparent background feature because it is available with the premium version only. So I'm just downloading what I have with the free version. So here I am ready with my logo. Now let's move on to the most important part of website development, that is web hosting, without which your website will never exist. So let's understand what is this. So web hosting is a service that hosts and stores your website files on a secured server that is always up and running. Without a web host, your website will not be able to, your website will not be accessible for others and read and will be available for browsers to read. In simple words, let's make it simple and better for our understanding. Let's assume a web hosting just as a piece of land that is shown on the top of this slide. And let's consider a website to be a house which is built on this particular piece of land. So this is the role of web hosting. So web hosting is basically a space which you utilize to develop your website. So web hosting can be considered as a piece of land, and your website can be considered as the house which is on the piece of land. So if you don't have a piece of land, you cannot construct a house. Similar is the case with the website. If you don't have a web hosting, you cannot develop a website. Affordable and reliable web hosting for new websites usually comes around $3 to $10 a month. It is less than a cup of coffee, but more important is the investment in the right web hosting services, because the success of your business depends on the web hosting. Domain name. The domain name is your website name and address. That address is used by visitors when they try to find your website through the web browser. A domain name can be a combination of letter, numbers, and it can be used as a combination of various domain extensions such as .com, .net, and many others. Over here on the slide on the right bottom, we have a picture over here which shows https www.magicworkshost.com. So this entire address is a URL and the domain is .com over here. So the orange part is the name of your website. So to understand the concept of domain name in easy terms, let's consider if the hosting space is a piece of land and the website is the house built on it, then consider domain name as a road to reach that particular house. If you don't have this road, if you don't have this address, you won't be able to reach this particular house. So that is the role of a domain name. The domain name must be registered before you use it. Every domain name is a unique. No two websites can have same domain name. If someone types in www.kabulcafe.com, will land on my website and no one can buy this domain again. The price of domain name typically runs between $15 to $25 per year, but most of the hosting vendors provide this domain name free. So if you are planning to set up your personal website or a website for your business, try to buy your domain with .com as an extension, as it will serve as a great option. You can always use generic domains like .net or .org if your goal is to reach out to international visitors. When you're first starting your website, you may not want to spend a lot of money on making a website. You always look for free option, but it's better to make a right selection of the vendor for hosting and domain name. Most people simply sometimes want something very quick, easy, and free. There are tons of free website hosting companies in market, but as a smarter consumer, you should know that there is no such thing as free lunch. There is always a catch. Most affordable and reputed vendors are Bluehost, GoDaddy, SiteGrounds, Hostinger, and many more. Today, we will use a free hosting and domain name service so that we all can learn better how to develop a website without spending any money. And we can also practice our skills and might become more perfect before we actually start designing our own professional looking website and share it for a business or share it to promote a brand. Let's move on to the next slide as a demo, which the demonstration will show how to get a hosting and domain name services for free. Here we will be making use of a website which is called as Awards Space. Awards Space offers free and premium services. Before we go to the free one, we'll just look into the premium services that they offer. The premium services are over here. The basic package starts with $2.99. And you can see the support services, the services they offer. Now let's look into the free hosting service. You can log in using your Facebook or Google, as well as you can create your own account. In my case, I'm using my Google account to log in to this particular hosting service, and the account is created. So my Google account is linked with Award Space. Over here, this is the welcome page wherein it gives me various different options. Do I need to get domain name, install CMS, upload my website which is already on my machine as a coded format, and I want to upload the same on the WordSpace hosting service. But over here, I'm not going to select any of it, and I'll just prefer to close this window so that I can give you a clear view of how the hosting services look like. This is the welcome screen of the website, again wherein it shows you the different app installers that it supports and the software that it can install automatically. Let's close it and look at the dashboard. So this is the dashboard of our workspace, and this area is basically called as control panel. In short, it is also called as C panel, from where you can control each and every setting for your website. You can create databases, you can manage domain names, you can create email accounts, you can see the report, what is the traffic coming in monthly on your website, and too many different stuff can be controlled. Over here, I'm going to use Zaki App Installer to install this software called as WordPress. I have clicked on it, and I can just look at some other softwares that I can use to use this installer to install. So this installer, Zaki Installer, supports WordPress, Joomla, and many different softwares. I'll just click on browse and install app so that I can go ahead. In this case, you need to have a domain. If you have a domain name, you can write in this particular box and click on host domain. It will be linked with the hosting service. If you don't, then this is what we have to do today. I'm writing the name of my website as Kabul Cafe, but here it's a free domain, so I cannot select .com or any other domain names. I have to select from this particular list what is available. So I'm selecting kabulcafe.atwebpages.com, and I just click on create. The domain name is created successfully. So in this session, what we have studied is how to get a free hosting service, and I am also able to, let's say, get a free domain name with this particular hosting service. Now in the upcoming slide, we are going to look at the demonstration on how to install WordPress on this hosting service, so that when I type kabulcafe.atwebpages.com in my web browser, I am able to get a nice, good looking website. So this is where we had left, and I have this kabulcafe.atwebpages.com set. I click on WordPress icon and proceed towards installation. So when I go ahead with the installation, I have to write the title of the website, for which website I'm installing WordPress for. I need to write the username. I prefer to go with my website name, that is Kabul Cafe, so that if I have multiple websites, it's easy for me to recognize this WordPress installation. I have clicked on generate password automatically. I have to save this. This is the email address that I'll be using, and I click on install application. The WordPress will be installed on the hosting service depending on the speed of your internet, as well as how fast is your web hosting provider able to accept the WordPress file in its local folder. It will take around 5 to 8 minutes for the installation, and yes, here the installation is done successfully. So this is the address kabul.atwebpages.com. On this particular link, my WordPress is installed. You will also get a follow-up email from our workspace, which will consist of your WordPress username and password, so that if you have not noted it, it's with you on your records. So here we go to open new tab and let's see how does my website look like. So this is the overview of my website after installation of WordPress, and I'm not really impressed with it. I don't really like how my website looks. I need to change its looks. If you want to modify your website, you can go to kabulcafe.webpages.com/WP, which will give you this particular login for your WordPress. Here you can enter your username and password, click on login button, and you will be able to modify your website. So let's step ahead. Before we move ahead, most important points that we need to note down. I don't need to use hosting service every time. The only time when I need to use the hosting service is when I want to modify anything related to website, or I want to create a new business email using that particular hosting service, or if you're hosting multiple websites and you want to install multiple instances for your WordPress. So if you want to make any changes to your hosting, or maybe let's say I have a website, I want to delete it and I want to come up with a fresh installation of website, then you can always visit the link. Since we have created hosting service on AwardSpace, this is the link over here for AwardSpace, that is cp1.awardspace.net/. And when you go to this website, you will get a login screen wherein you have to enter your credentials, or you can log in using the Google account as well. The second over here is the web address. So this is the part that you have to share it with your audience, with your friends. kabulcafe.atwebpages.com, and this is the page that it is meant for public. But if you are a developer and you wish to develop your website, you change the looks of the website, add, delete content, and update and top up your website, then this last address is meant for you. That is http kabulcafe.atwebpages.com. The most important part is /wp admin. When you write /wp admin, you get the WordPress screen wherein you can enter your username and password, and then you can modify it. So in the next slide, I'm going to show you how to modify the look of your website using the ready-made themes available free of cost in WordPress. So themes are just similar to the themes that you have in your mobile, and they make your website attractive. The themes can be selected based on what type of website you are designing. So in my case, I'm designing a website related to a restaurant. So I will be going ahead with the theme which is related to restaurant, and I can make some minor changes without wasting more time in revamping everything from scratch. So let's make of this last login credential, that is kabulcafe.atwebpages.com/wp-admin, and modify my website. So over here, this is the output of the website, which is meant for public, and I'm really not impressed with what I have over here on my screen. So I have logged into my WordPress panel using the username and password. I've just logged in, and this is the dashboard for my WordPress. Over here I have all different variety of settings related to my website, and we will be checking one by one. But let's open a new tab, my actual website, which is visible to public, so that I can see simultaneously the changes that I do reflected to public. But before that, let me set up my screen. Let me uncheck the sections which I don't want, so that I have less distractions while development. Moving on further, so we are ready to go. I'll go to appearance menu, themes, and this is the place from where I will be able to select the good, beautiful theme from my website. These are the ready-made ones which are available by WordPress. I'm just deleting it so that I don't have extra themes that utilize my web hosting space. I clicked on new themes, and this is the list of themes that is available in WordPress library free of cost. You can select anyone, whichever you like. If you already have a theme with you, then maybe you can click on upload theme, and then you can choose file and upload the theme from your machine. But here in my case, I don't have one, and the theme that I'm using is called as Food Restro. I have installed the theme. I'll just click on activate button to activate the theme. So when I click on activate, the theme will be applied to my website. This theme has come with few additional softwares over here, so I also need to install those softwares. But before I do that, let me delete the themes which I'm not going to use. So you can just click on the themes and you can just click on this delete button at the bottom, give confirmation okay, and yes, now I have only one theme, that is Food Restro, which I'm going to use. So let's open a new tab and see, does this make some difference? Yes, it has changed the look and feel of my website, but still the website is not similar to what I want as per this particular picture given over here. So to move ahead, let me first install the softwares which has come along with the theme. I'm installing all softwares together, and here I say apply. It is done. Now the next part over here is the softwares are installed, but the softwares are not yet activated. So I'll go to plugins. The softwares over here in WordPress are called as plugins. I'll go to plugins and I'll find the software that I have installed. Yes, one-click demo importer. I'll click on activate. It will be used to import the dummy data of the website so that I have less work to do. I'll also activate contact form 7. And if there is at all any plugin which you don't like, you can delete it. Let's say I don't want this Hello Jolly, I delete it because it's useless to me, and it's done. So this is my website. I don't want this MySQL web installer over here. I want the name of my website to be here. So let's move on to that part. To change the name of my website, I'll come back to the dashboard. I'll click on General. In general settings, I'll just change the slide title and tagline. So the title of my website is Kabul Cafe because that's the name of my website, and my tagline I would like to give is tasty Afghan food because it's a restaurant. I'm okay with the URL, it's perfect, site address is perfect, email is perfect. So if you want, you can change the time format, date format. I'm pretty much okay with it. So I'm just changing the time zone. I want the time zone to be set to my current country, that is India. So plus 5:30 UTC. I have selected, I'm happy with that. I save the changes and I move on to the next setting part. So the next setting is the reading settings. Basically, if you want to set a home page, you have to select the second option, which is called a static home page. At present, I have not created, but we will be importing the dummy data soon so that we will get that page automatically created over here. And home page is very much important. Using these tools, you have an inbuilt WordPress importer, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use import data. I'll be importing data using click demo import, which is in the appearance menu, and this is how it looks like. I'll click on this hyperlink which says click here to for the demo file download. So we will be downloading the demo file. I have already downloaded over here. So I'll be using all these different files. I'll be uploading these different files in my installer over here. So I have selected XML file for XML, WIE file over here, and it's uploaded in the WIE tab. DAT file, I'll upload it with DAT, and I click on import demo data. So now you see the difference. The website, it looks similarly what you had seen in a picture. Since this is a free web hosting, that's the reason it's not able to download and get the entire dummy data, that is which consists of different images. But nevertheless, no doubt our work is more over here because we are using a free service. So we will not worry about it. We will add the images by ourselves manually. To customize your website, we can always go to appearance and a second menu which is called as customize. When we click on this customized menu, we can change different settings for the theme over here. There are various different settings which are available for the logo and website title. So if you are not happy with any of it, you can do it. I don't want to display the title, so I just prefer to hide the title. This is the setting that I'm using to add the logo to my website over here. I'm happy with the logo. Let's crop the logo so that it best matches with my website. Now it's ready to go. So the logo is over here. The logo is highlighted over here. No doubt I don't have a transparent background logo, but I'm happy with it. So when I click on publish, it is implemented, and the users in public will be able to see the changes on your website. If you don't hit publish, you won't be able to get the changes. You have various other images for headers in the different part of the website. You have various different settings over here. You can make use of it. You can see the slider settings over here. You can enable or disable any section of your website. Like I disabled the slider section, so the sliders are gone, but it looks quite awkward, so I'm just enabling it. And in the later session tomorrow, we will be studying about how to add different pictures, text to the slider sections as well, and all different sections. So here we have a variety of different sections which can be customized, and we can change the text, icons, images as per our requirement. So everything is customizable over here. The dummy pages have been imported directly over here, and you just have to make changes to all of these pages based on your requirement. So you can over here, you can for instance change the name of the button. So you can see I have renamed the button from view all to read more, and now I click on publish so that it is visible to the public, whoever is visiting my website. And I'm pretty much done over here. So this is the look and feel of my website. This is the website that you have ready with her logo over here. And you can certainly see the changes also over here. Still, it doesn't look good because we need to add the images to make it more attractive for the slider, and that we are going to learn in tomorrow's section on day 2. And we are going to not only learn how to add the images on the slider, but we are also going to go through how to make the first page of your website look good so that you can attract more customers to it and your business is successful. Before we end the session, there is a small assignment. There is always a small assignment because this is not just limited to a online lecture series, but it is a kind of a workshop, and this is for you to practice. So you can come up with your own meaningful website. You can configure your hosting and domain name as shown today. You can install WordPress. You can add a theme as shown. You can add a logo, and you can customize this as per your requirement. And most important thing is, once it is done, you can share your URL on your Facebook wall, and you can always tag me. Don't forget to tag me at the rate meet Shehrevar so that I get notified and I can look at what you have done and share the inputs with you so that you can improve your skills much more. Moving ahead, we are at the conclusion of this session. Most important thing is, before I conclude the session, we have gifts for everyone as usual. So the one who completes the website very well will get a complete free assistance from my end and a complete guidance on how to develop the website in person, and it won't be at any cost. It will be completely free. The viewers who have not yet written reviews on my Facebook page, the first 5 viewers who are going to write the reviews on my Facebook page will get the free certificate. Yes, but you are required to attend the second day session and complete it so that you get the free certificate. If you have any questions, please feel free to type in the message box available on this particular page, and I will revert back to you as soon as possible. Sharing is caring, so do share my page with your friends and relatives. Show support by clicking on the like button. Stay updated with the upcoming courses and blogs. Thank you again for joining us today, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night and stay safe.